Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, a podcast that reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 581, and it is your review of The Holy Mountain. And as always, it is the Nerd Chicano here to host the show alongside my wonderful co host, Brad Young Yoda.
Sup, everybody. Welcome to a amazing Monday. And we're here to talk about some holy mountains.
Some holy mountains, indeed, right, Brad? Yep. Yep. The hills, the holy hills, right?
The hills have eyes.
The hills definitely have eyes.
Or jaguar milk? Is that what?
A lot of shit that was going on here. Oh man.
Another
But
one where we did a disservice by being sober.
yeah, I think that's gonna be
The theme.
the
The
theme this
theme of
whole
this
month. This whole month was like,
being sober during this time
yeah.
is not the best way.
I read a comment online where somebody said that maybe the movies of the 70s were so, you know, revolutionary because everybody was doing LSD while writing them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drugs,
Ooh.
not even once. Oh my god.
That's how you get cinema.
Yeah. As the Beatles, that's how they got most of their music. A bunch of drugs.
Yep. A lot of their later stuff for sure.
Yep. But yeah, Brad, how are you doing, bro?
I'm holding it together. I'm tired, but I'm one
Yeah.
piece. So
Yeah, I'm definitely a little tired too. Holy mountains, respectfully.
respectfully.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Oh my God. Yeah, I went to work today. They
Basically
started.
picked up what I was putting down.
Yeah, definitely. I went to work today. We did some prep for. Well, the students were doing prep for their shorts. They're gonna start filming. So I was just there helping them out with their stuff that needed to get done, and I'm just tired. Maya got her rabies shot today, though.
Ooh.
Yeah,
She feeling
because
okay?
she's alright. Yeah, she's chill. But it's just it's a state law. You gotta have rabies, or else apparently I can't take a dog to get groomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad, in Mexico, you drop them off, and that's all right with them,
Yeah. I mean,
and it costs less.
it's not where I'm at. It's not a bad idea to get them rabies shots
Yeah.
because we have raccoons running around
Well,
and
there was a
bats.
raccoon at my work last week.
I've caught one on camera a few times in the back of the house.
Yeah.
But we
My
have bats
God.
too, so it just makes sense to get them,
Yeah.
rabies.
Yeah. Well,
Because if
yeah.
anybody's watched Cujo, that is not a good way for a dog to go.
Nope. Not a good way for a dog to go at all, right?
Mm-mm.
But yeah, just chilling here. Just been good day. Just hanging out. Finished watching this movie. I have a cinema condition recording tomorrow. Uh, I kind of like debating whether I even want to rewatch Interstellar because I already saw it like 2 weeks ago. But I think I should probably do a good watch right now so that way I can at least understand what I'm going to talk about. But I'm also just really tired. I also started watching a little bit of Dance of Reality because I had a little bit of a high after the Holy Mountain. I was like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Let's just start the next one. And I was like, and I got to
So,
like,
Dance of Reality, the next one.
yes, the Dance of Reality is the next one.
Why is this man always calling this shit weird? And
No,
starting with the
so next week, Monday is the Dance of Reality, right?
okay,
Next on Thursday, we're gonna be doing the confusion
okay, that's
for
why I'm confused.
yeah, yeah. But the Dance of Reality is the next Horosky one that we're gonna do.
Also, Monday's a holiday, by the way,
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's
Memorial
right.
Day.
Yeah. But yeah. So either way, it's been a good day though. But glad that you're doing good too. Yeah. How's
Doing all right. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Weekend wasn't anything eventful, Brad?
Um. Well, had some family matters to
Yeah.
take care of, but other than that, yeah. I mean, it was kind of a rough one in the books. It's been a rough month, so
Yeah.
I'm,
Dance of
I'm staying
reality.
tall.
It's the Macarena, isn't it? Oh
Ah,
my god.
Macarena.
By the way, you guys are not tripping. You know, this is live and early for patrons only. That's why Stacy's able to interact with us. But for those of y'all who are listening in the public, you can get access to that by patreon.com
No
slash
one just
nerdcore,
watched me do the Macarena.
the $1 tier. Yep. Live and in real time, you would have seen Brad do the Macarena.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I don't know, Brett. I think we can definitely we are definitely gonna have a longer conversation, so I think we should just start, right?
I mean, I don't know. We had a long conversation about Otopo. I think we have plenty to talk
Yeah,
on.
yeah. But yeah, let's get this going. So let's do this, guys. If you have not watched the Holy Mountain, this is your chance to get out of here. If you care about spoilers, but if you don't care about spoilers, should go ahead. You can go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a five, four, three, two, one. All right, Brad. I'm gonna do a mixture of Wikipedia, IMDb synopsis, and trivia because this is like literally a paragraph.
Yep.
The Holy Mountain, or how it is pronounced in Spanish, La Montaña Sagrada, is a 1973 Mexican surreal film directed, written, produced, co scored, co edited by and starring Alejandro Jodorowsky, who also participated as a set designer and costume designer on the film. Following Jodorowsky's underground hit El Topo, acclaimed by both John Lennon and George Harrison, the film was produced by the Beatles manager Alan Klein of ABKCO Music and Records. Lennon and Yoko Uno put up production money put up production money. It was shown at various international film festivals in 1973, including Cannes and limited screenings in New York and San Francisco. Cinematography is done by Rafael Corchidi. He was the one who also did El Topo, and he's gonna do our he did our mini pod, Fando Ilis. It's what's also edited by Federico Landeros. Music is done by Don Cherry, Ronald Frangipane, and of course Alejandro Jodorowsky, and it sits at an hour and 54 minutes. And on a budget of $750,000, it made $104,160 on a reissue. Yeah, dude, all of these movies you can tell that they were made for like less than a
And you know
million.
what the Beatles said to that? I don't fucking care.
I don't care. They're like, I
Don't
don't
fucking
care.
care.
This is a passion of mine
Yeah, this
to
was a
finance
passion
a
project.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was a passion of me to
Plus,
finance a movie.
plus,
Ringo,
this is probably a cult favorite. So
yeah,
I'm sure over time it's hopefully minutes pushed back.
yeah. Ringo thought it was mid though.
But
Oh my god! And the IMDb synopsis is as follows. If I could, there we go. A Christ-like figure wanders through bizarre, grotesque scenarios filled with religious and sacrilegious imagery. That's it.
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all
Oh,
we
I'm
got.
sorry. I was reading the synopsis. In a
Okay.
corrupt, greed-fueled world, a powerful alchemist leads a messianic character and seven materialistic figures to the holy mountain, where they hope to achieve enlightenment. All right, Brad. And we have a little bit of trivia here that I thought was really interesting that I could read here for y'all. But before filming began, director Alejandro Jodorowsky spent a week without sleep under a Zen master's direction and lived communally with the film's cast for a month.
God, I would hate that.
Yeah. The crucified animal carcasses were borrowed from a local restaurant, which were then severed to served to customers upon being returned.
I mean, didn't go to waste, and he didn't kill the animals this time.
Uh, During the boating sequence, Jodorowsky had intended to shoot a scene where the group leaps into the ocean to get in the infinite waters. The cast proceeded to leap in, then promptly began to drown. The crew was so busy trying to rescue them that nothing on the scene ended up being shot.
Which could explain the one scene where they look into the bucket and then go, "Up, he's drowned."
At a projected budget of $1,500,000, $1.5 million in USA dollars, it was to have been the most expensive Mexican film production to date. The film reportedly cost only half that amount. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. The movements from the opening scene ritual are actual movements of a Japanese tea ceremony. Hodorowsky states that the girls themselves were not actual actresses, merely two people who wanted to have a spiritual experience. They were searching for their own truth, the naked truth. Stacy says, "Sir, your chicken dish now has a SAG card. That will be $50 before the strike starts for SAG." Um,
There- there- There's a 20% tip on top of that.
yeah. George Harrison himself, a big fan of Hodorowski's work after having seen El Topo, was originally up for the role of the thief, but disagreed with the director over what he considered gratuitous nudity, particularly the shot where his anus is bathed. Rather than cast a stand-in or remove the shot altogether, Hodorowski stood his ground, prompting Harrison to drop out. Hodorowski later expressed some regret over this in the Anchor Bay DVD commentary, noting that Harrison's movement involvement could have exposed the film to an even larger audience.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, probably.
During the decapitation scene, the actor actually struck Hodorowski for real, cutting his neck and nearly killing him.
Oh,
Hodorowski reflects that had the sword actually been real, he would have indeed have been decapitated.
holy God.
Yup.
Well, that's that's a worker's complaint right there.
Director's complaint right there.
Like I'm just trying to picture this. I'm like, what do you do if you decapitate your director? Is that just is that the end of the movie? Does that movie never see the light of day? Is it just
Ideally, in a world where the director would have gotten, like, let's say, sick or something,
somebody else
then
would have finished it?
then the second unit director or the assistant director would step in to complete
Yeah.
shooting. But in the case of death, either one of two things happens, Brad. Production gets shut down, and that movie never sees the lights of day. Studio rehires somebody else, and they finish the movie.
And knowing Hodorowski and the way he thinks, they probably would have kept his decapitation in the
Yeah.
movie.
Cut. Oh wait,
Oh, wait. Oops, my
the
bad.
crew the crew didn't obtain any permits for the shot of the helicopter sending down in the street. Merely had an actor in a police uniform stop traffic while they
Jesus
filmed,
Christ.
then proceeded to run off after the shot was complete.
This man is on another. I was wondering some of these scenes he shot through the town and stuff. I'm like, usually they close those down like in actual,
Productions,
movies. In
yeah, yeah.
actual productions, they'll close like a whole block down and do that. And just looking at that, I'm like, I don't think he did that. And so you just have all these like women like in sheer shirts
Yep,
walking down the street, the supposed prostitutes, and it's
yeah.
just
Except for one run, and
yes,
okay,
the young
the
the
young one didn't
with the
have
young
anything.
one,
Yeah,
which
which I was like, so wait, the girl, but the kid, the boys can be out here and just slinging it around. Like,
I
I
don't
wonder how it worked in Mexico at the time when it came to that.
yeah, well, and he had it in El Topo, and I
Yeah,
mean,
all of his
I
movies were
don't know.
made in Mexico, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tumor that the priest. This is the final piece of trivia, by the way. The tumor that the priest pulled out of the back of the thief's neck was an octopus the
I
filmmakers
thought it was
purchased at a local market.
okay. I figured it was like a squid or something. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it looked kind of funny. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's blue and
yeah,
blah.
yeah. All right. Well, Brad, you want to go first? What are your initial thoughts on the Holy Mountain?
I I liked it better than I did El Topo. I actually I prefer this over El Topo. Like I got the messaging. I got the messaging of the commercialization of religion and how much, you know, he was against it. That is seen throughout this whole movie. I thought it was done actually very well. And, there's not a great amount of dialogue in this, which is fine.
I think there's like, I wish there was an actual count because I actually counted. I actually kept an eye on the clock. It is until 30 minutes and 21 seconds, I think, was when the first line of dialogue was spoken in
Yeah.
this film.
So I mean, it really keeps you without the dialogue. You're really in tune, just what's on the screen, and then the music behind it. And the music is exceptional in this. The music blows me away throughout this movie. Some of the visuals too. There are scenes in this where I'm like impressed. I am impressed by Alexandro Jodorowsky. The one where I don't know, the blonde muscular dude is
Yeah,
kneeling with the dead um I guess city folk
yeah,
on the ground. Supposed to represent, I'm pretty sure, Mexicans in Mexico. The
yeah,
They're dead on the ground because he's the chief of police. And
yeah.
that dust storm that just comes in, that
Oh,
shot is
fucking
just
incredible.
it's like it's one of the best shots I've seen in a movie. It's pretty freaking incredible. Um I, and I gotta say, I really did enjoy this movie much more than El Topo, and maybe because I understood the vision, and I think he had an actual idea what he wanted to say in this, where I didn't get that from El Topo. El Topo, I felt like at some moments maybe he had some idea on the religious aspects he wanted to talk about, and then it just went into total utter bullshit that I think he was making up. In this, from start to finish, I really think he had a message he was trying to get across, and that came through. And it was very stylistic and great.
Yeah. Brad, I am 100% there with you, man. I really liked this movie. There's, man, you're talking about that shot. I loved everything that was being shot when he went inside the temple.
Ooh.
Where like the rainbow colored like walls and stuff,
Yeah,
and
where he's
the,
walking along that, and the
yeah,
slow, like, methodical walk he does
yeah,
through there.
just
Um,
the whole framing and just the production design of inside that room while he's walking to the alchemist was
yeah,
just like really really well shot. Um, I like this movie a lot. I really did. I think that this is it's like not completely off like base like El Topo is what I thought El Topo was. But it still was really I gravitated a lot to the symbolism and the imagery here. I really understood what exactly Alejandro Jodorowsky was trying to say, and I think that this goes to show that like when he's actually kind of like understanding of what he's trying to do and say here, he can really turn out a really good movie because it shows bits and pieces inside of Santa Sangre, and it shows like parts of El Topo where you're like, oh man, if you would have just continued along with this, I think you would have gotten a really good film. But
yeah.
here in the Holy Mountain, I
I
think that
think
he
he
did a
hits it.
great job. He fucking hits it, dude. You did a great job here.
I I I
Um,
I think from the opening, the part that really got me from the start was the lizards. The lizards that are supposed to represent, the Aztec. I'm guessing the Aztec people,
yeah,
the original, you
the
know,
yeah,
the original Mexican people, and then you have the colonizers come in, and
yeah,
it's like almost ridiculous in a way, but I love the way he shows this because it is like that whole death and ravaging and you know all the horrible shit, but like he does it with reptiles,
yeah,
and so he kind of gets away with it, and like he literally blows them up, and it's like he's trying to state all this of like colonialism is what basically just destroyed my country from the very beginning.
yeah,
And he just has that continue throughout and continue with the commercialization of religion throughout and just all these things that keep you know him from finding peace, and that's basically what he's trying to get to, is enlightenment in the end.
yeah. It's like I saw that and I was like, it's so interesting because, by the way, Jodorowsky is Chilean, but he moved to Mexico. He moved to Mexico, and he spent a lot of time. But of course, a lot of what Mexico and Chile kind of share is like a history of corruption, of history of governments that have failed its people. And I thought that that scene was really really interesting because I was like, oh, like it's like a bunch of frogs, and then they come in and like they're not actually like killing each other, but they're also just like fucking like
But
destroying each other, and then
the way he films it, makes
yeah,
it makes like the colonizers are eating the Aztec
yeah,
lizards. That's what it kind of looks like, and then he kind of just blows everything up.
yeah. Um, and I really like that. I also loved how he was like pouring the blood over the actual, like, the pyramid,
Hmm.
and it was going down. And like at first you would think like, oh, this might be just symbolizing, you know the human sacrifices that the Mexica would make. But it's like, no, the more the blood came down, it's like, no, this is actually like the people that died here, the people that were,
The
you know
genocide.
genocide. And and that's it's in the beginning. It's like, yeah, this is the root of a lot of the problems, and a lot of it. And like I said, Jodorowsky is really uncompromising, and I think that like he's not trying to essentially say that like Catholicism is the problem, but it's kind of saying like this is where everything kind of you know goes back to. It's Catholicism.
Well,
And
and just the and maybe not even Catholicism, like Catholicism for sure, but on top of that, the commercialization of it.
yeah,
So it's basically what people see as Catholicism in today's modern world, even goes to today. It's just trying to sell a bunch of plastic Jesuses, and he literally
yeah,
has that. He has plastic
a
Jesuses like
room full
everywhere,
of them.
and the actual like the
Yeah,
I guess the faux Jesus, the one that looks like Jesus, is carrying a fake Jesus. I
yeah.
mean, and it's great symbolism throughout this film,
Well,
which
yeah, and
I
like you
think
think
he,
about it, right?
yeah,
This man shows up and they drug him, and it's like you think about it, like this is a person who you think looks exactly like the Messiah,
well,
and you
white
treat him
Messiah.
like this, and you what's it called, you try to replicate him and put him on. And it's like, instead of actually sitting down and talking to him and trying to understand what he is, like, no, like. And like towards like the film, it kind of like gives the idea that maybe this guy was a kind like really a Christ-like figure, and the people were so quick to first just commercialize him instead of sitting down with him and actually learning about him.
And some of the filming techniques and decisions he makes through this, like when he eats the face of the
Yeah,
statue, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, wow. So he is in taking his own commercialization. So he has become corrupt in that sense, and it just, I mean, the symbolism from start to finish blew me away through this. In which the issue I had with El Topo is you saw glimpses of that, but it was never really connected through and through, and it was just, to me, it was a mess. El Topo was a mess, and this is definitely a finished thought.
yeah. There was a so it says here that he took a lot of this film is based on two different novels. One of them is The Ascent of Mount Carmel, um, which is a 16th century spiritual treatise by Spanish Catholic mystic and poet Saint John of the Cross. And it says here that alongside other connected work by John entitled The Dark Knight, it details the so-called dark night of the soul, when the individual soul undergoes earthly and spiritual privations in search of union with God. Yeah, and a lot. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of this film is. Is like, and he kind of says it at the end when he has the camera zoom back out, and he's like, you know, what's it called? He says reality is fake, and it is only until like basically like it's only until we've like soul search within our souls and search within our spiritual self that we actually know what true like enlightenment actually is.
And then everything along that way that's keeping us from gaining that enlightenment,
Yeah,
which is the 9 or 10 um planets, I guess you could say,
yeah,
because they're named after planets, and they have their billionaires or whatever they may be. They're keeping, us from becoming enlightened. And
yeah.
you could probably watch this another 5 times and not see everything
No.
that he was trying to say. There's some, the toy maker, which I thought was very interesting, because it goes from, on the outside for the children, it's like, oh, it's a circus, it's a toy maker, great. And then you go into the inside of that factory, of that sweatshop, and
Mm-hmm.
they're making weapons of war. And what they're doing is they're desensitizing the children and putting, a villain and pointing them at it. And then 15 years later, that's when they plan their war. And in order to get soldiers for that war, they're basically grooming these children for that. And they even
Yeah.
show a comic book, which to me is like, well, that's Captain America
Yeah.
1940s. I mean,
Captain though.
yeah, Captain.
Yeah. Against the Peruvian monster.
Yeah,
Like if it like that's what I like about this film is that the messages are right there. Like it's talking about imperialism, colonialism. It's talking about the effects of commercialized Catholicism in not just Mexico, but in a sense, a lot of Latin America. And it's a really good movie. I really liked it.
I think
I
this would be a good one for cinema condition.
I
There's
think
just
I
so
think it would
much
be
with this
too.
film.
I think it would be too, and I think it would require a really good deep dive on it.
Yeah,
This one is available on Blu-ray. They did remaster it, which I believe what I was watching on my end, the the streaming one that I found. I believe it is the new remastered version, which I'd say that looked really good. It looked really clean, and I think they did a really good job on that. Um, the music was like you said, the music was fantastic.
music hit. Like it
Yeah,
hit good too.
yeah. Captain, and the seasonal soldier.
Seasonal Soldier. It's about right.
Different movie. Different movie.
Different movie.
Yeah.
And another timeline.
I
And
will
another
say though,
timeline where Dune came out under this guy.
I watched the trailer for that, Brad.
I watched the trailer too.
My
I am
God,
interested.
those storyboards that
And
they were showing.
they're huge. And they're like books this thick. And I'm like, they really went fucking into this. They were gonna
He
make
was
this.
ready. He was ready for it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, he starts it off and he goes, "I had never read Dune." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't think it would have been like the best,
But
like
my
plot
friend said it
wise.
was good.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't think it would have been the best plot wise, but I think like
No,
visually, what he
but
probably
the
would have done. Yeah.
visually it would have been fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh, like, did you see the part where, like, in the trailer where he's talking about like the ship and like he had like a mouth and like the tongue would come out and
Yeah.
the ship would be coming?
And he had what is it H Geiger?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Higer,
they
yeah.
had that whole and I'm just like I'm down. I'm down for that.
Like, I just want to see this. Like, I want to see
Now
what
I
this would
want
have.
to see this. Like I don't care if it's a train wreck. Because story-wise I think it would be because
Yeah,
just based on these three films, one of them is a train wreck that didn't really hit for me. The other two, one's fantastic and the other one is two-thirds fantastic. So I think you would have got some fucking visuals and music that would have just had your mind just melting and maybe not the greatest story. But what he was saying in that trailer, and I think this will be one we review in the future, but what he was saying in that trailer got me fucking interested because I'm like, I'm sold. Like Mick Jagger.
yeah,
I mean, you had Sting in the fucking other one, so why not?
yeah. There was some. So, by the way, I just want to say, like, this isn't a nitpick, but it was something that I noticed within this film, and it wasn't until I actually watched the trailer for this for Jodorowsky's Dune. I thought throughout the film this guy was exaggerating the fuck out of his accent
No, that's
until I
how he,
watched the
the trailer,
trailer.
and that's how he really sounds.
And I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's how he talks." I was
I
like,
did.
"This thick as
I
hell, bro."
also I did have a question.
Yeah.
That that poor monkey having to like cross through the Arctic tundra there,
Oh yeah.
with his hand on the ground. I'm starting to question like the animals in Hodorowski's films. Um,
What?
I,
So like, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
their state of being,
Yeah.
because you know, no animals that were harmed in the making of this film. I don't think that goes for this time.
That I watched the whole credits, Brad. There was nothing that came up about that.
Yeah, okay, because like El Topo, there are a bunch of dead rabbits everywhere. This
Yeah.
one, at least he got the chickens from a restaurant. They reused the
Yeah.
chickens, so. But
Yeah.
there's other instances where I'm like, I don't think. And then was that elephant the same one from Santa Sangre?
Think Santa Sangre,
I'm
I
pretty
think so,
sure.
yeah. Well, and like here's what I'm gonna say, and I think I should touch on this before we finish up. I think he has a lot to say with when it comes to animals, but also when it comes to physically deformations, because he seems to be a constant theme in his movies.
But
And I think to an extent, I think it has to say with the way that like, oh, that that organized and commercialized religion will like say that these people are like messed up, and like how they're like they're not abominations, but they're like there's some of the because they always say like God doesn't make mistakes, right? They're like, oh, God doesn't make mistakes, but it sometimes it does feel like organized religions kind of says like you have to feel bad for them because obviously this had to been at one point some sort of mistake from God. And I think he includes them in this, especially in this movie, to be like, well, they're not mistakes. They're just, the people who, that have been, ignored for so long by,
Yeah, and then organized religion throws them off the boat,
yeah,
or
just throws them off and says, you
doesn't
need to
see
get rid
them.
of this illusion.
Yeah,
And it's like, not really an illusion, more so like this. That was like the one guy from the beginning, from that first
that was
act, who
there.
was actually, nice to this dude.
Yeah, that was there for him. That was
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, I really like this movie. Brad, what are you going to go ahead and give The Holy Mountain?
Man, I really like this movie. Um, I think I'd have to watch it a few more times in order to give it perfect. So with that, I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, man. Um, the only reason I'm gonna come in a little bit lower than Brad, I think when we were doing the whole introductions to the seven, well, not seven, was it eight? I think
8 or 9.
eight or nine. Well, because it was ten
How many
people
planets
at
do we
the
have?
end. We have Rick.
We were going through it, and this
Yeah,
one includes Pluto.
yeah. So like the planets, the people who represent the planets, I think because like you can tell like towards the last half of those planets, he started to cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think those
I
first half
well,
were taking a lot of time to like introduce. Uh,
Also you could tell in that first half, like they each had their, I'm this planet, yada yada yada, and it went
yeah,
through, and then by the end of that, they just kind of like scrapped that and like, I'm this guy, this planet, and this is my
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Which is where I was like, okay, it seems that like he kind
A
of knew
little
that like I
rushed.
think I'm dragging this a little bit too much. That's the only part where to me I was like, okay, can we speed it up a little bit so that way we can get to like the end of this act,
Agreed.
this third act, because like I know it's gonna
Although,
wrap up.
did you not enjoy the 999 testicles on the wall?
Oh fuck hell.
Take one down, pass it around.
Yeah, take one around, buzz it around. Um, But I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8.75 out of 10. I really like this movie, and just for the hell of it, I'm really interested to see what Letterbox has to say about this.
Yeah,
So
why
I'm
not?
gonna
We
read.
did for the last one.
I'm gonna read one half star and one 5 star. Um. Oh my god, this is a really long one. Um. A lot of these are in different languages.
Stacy says, "Poor guy that had to represent Uranus." That was actually, for being the funniest planet name, that had to be maybe my least favorite one there, because he was just like, he's like, yeah, I'm the what the financial guru or something to the president, and it's like, okay, they that was a weird scene, by the way.
Yeah. I. Once again, my friends, I implore you all, don't review a movie if you didn't watch it,
Watch the whole
because
thing.
what I'm seeing throughout these half stars is a pattern of turn it off 11 minutes in, turned it off after 5 minutes. Eh,
Like like okay, so you didn't even give it a chance, is what you're saying.
yeah, you didn't give it a 10, man. Okay, here's one. The movie version of having a bad trip. Also, I'm bothered by the misuse of animals. Also, to those white knights praising the attention to details in this film, in the scene where the police chief cuts the testicles, he praises the guy for sacrificing his testicles like 999 others before. He then says, your sacrifice completes my sanctuary of 1,000 testicles. However, men have two testicles. Hence, his collection actually now contains 2,000 testicles. Unwatchable. That's what you decided to.
Okay, so I clicked into this Theater 42. Do you see that?
I Is that the long ass one?
Yeah, well, it's like got multiple people speaking back and forth.
I didn't see it, man.
I just typed in the Holy Mountain and it popped up, but
Yeah. All right.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know if
go now.
these
Yeah.
guys really didn't find it charming, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, here's the first 5 star, and that'll be it. Holy fuck, this is a one of a kind film. Unmatched imagery and cinematography. The first 25 to 35 minutes are a 100 out of 10 masterpiece. There's nothing else in the realm. Deeply artistic, unreal, spiritual, symbolic, dreamy, mesmerizing, psychedelic, filled with religious and societal themes. Absurd, gruesome, and funny. It's truly unbelievable that this was made 50 years ago. A timelessly relevant alien and futuristic classic.
I mean, I give it the themes still are very, you know, they they actually they aged well. Like
Yeah,
you can watch this film and you can still find those same issues today that it's
yeah,
calling out.
yeah. All right. Well, that concludes our review of the Holy Mountain.
Yeah, we found a
And
movie. We found what we like.
yeah, yeah, we found one we liked, right? Well, to
Yeah,
be fair, we kind of liked Santa Sangre,
we
but
did
yeah,
like two
yeah,
thirds of the movie.
yeah.
I liked it
But
until the end.
yeah, till the end, yeah. But that concludes our review of the Holy Mountain. We thank you all so much for joining us. Of course, if you would like to keep up to date with us, please check us out on
Be like
thenerdcore.com,
Stacy. You want to be like Stacy? Stacy is cool.
twitter.com/thenerdcore underscore, Instagram at the nerdcore, patreon.com/thenerdcore. At $1, you get this episode early and live before anybody else gets to see it. And of course, there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm working on it, y'all. I finally was able to I finally completed completed uploading the audio feed. It is up to date. Everything's up to date. Um, I reworked the Patreon now to reflect what we will actually be doing now. So it's basically going back to what we were doing before. Um, one monthly commentary, except that now it's going to fit to the theme that we're doing. So that'll start next month with our theme for June. So we'll just when we do the coin toss, we are gonna pick our two lock-ins, a mini pod and a commentary now, and whoever wins the what's it called the coin toss gets first pick gets mini pod and gets to choose the commentary. So that's how we'll do it. And of course, mini pod will be available to the $5 tiers and above, and that'll be every month as well. And just it's pretty much the same thing how we had it before, just going back to the way it was. So, patreon.com/the nerdcore. And of course, we want to thank you all so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Discord link is in the description of the video and audio version. So if you are watching on YouTube, we would really like if you can go ahead and drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell so that way the algorithm can work in our favor and we get to more eyes and more fans of Alejandro Jodorowsky. Maybe they'll tell us a little bit more about El Topo that we're kind of missing out on. Apparently, the guy's next movie is actually the son of El Topo.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Well,
I don't
that
know.
kind of makes sense with the ending of El Topo.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. And if you're listening to our newly updated audio feed, please make sure that you leave a 5 star review. That would also help us out a lot. Um, I know that this is the main show, but GamerCore has their own channel now, y'all. So please go and subscribe to that. I'm going to be promoting that a little bit throughout this week. So please go and subscribe to that. There on Wednesday, we're doing. I'm going to be joining Keon for the hour-long PlayStation State of Play. Crossing our fingers for a little bit of Spider-Man 2 info on that one. So hoping that happens. So I'll be on there with Keon. So check that out. And of course, we want to thank our patron supporters. Without them, it's not possible. And our producer Shane. Where can you find Shane, Brad?
You follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIL or go support the Suppy God at PresentCityVintage.com. Buy some good shit.
Damn straight. And we will see you all live. We'll see you all again for our next review, which is a confusion. Now that we are going to be completely done with our backlog of mini pods that we need to do, and we'll be able to start. Well, actually, we'll be able to start this month clean because we'll have Fondo and Lease to talk to you all about. But in the meantime, it's been a wonderful time, and we will catch you all then. Brad, send them out.
Raro, thank you for being host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us in chat today. Thank you to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, don't eat Jesus's face. Young Yoda out. but it tastes like snozzberries.
If it was day one Morbius release, Stacy, I'd be no.